You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
And my name is Rob. And we thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a great day, a great start to 2017. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you very much. And today we're going to be talking about record keeping under Part 107. Is it required? Is it not required? What is required is really the question. And we'll be answering that thanks to the help of one of our sponsors, videoblocks.com/drone 2016. Why VideoBlocks? Very simple. Us as drone pilots, we create media. And a lot of times that requires copyright-free music, loops, waves, graphics, and other B-roll footage. Many times we forget to film things, and sometimes we just need an extra clip to make that video just a little bit better. Well, VideoBlocks created a subscription-based, copyright-free website. That way, you'll have access to hundreds of thousands of copyright-free clips, songs, and graphics for one low monthly rate. As a listener of Ask Drone U, you can save $100 if you go to videoblocks.com/drone 2016. Have you ever thought about living the drone life? Have you ever thought about escaping mediocrity and coming into the world of adventure, traveling all over? It's a great life, Rob. What do you think? Do you like to live and do whatever you want and just kind of...
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Let's make it happen.
To be honest. But regardless of where your interests lie, there's plenty of business to go around. So make sure you pick up Living the Drone Life and learn the insider's guide, the formula to turn your passion into profit.
Absolutely.
Let's play the question, Rob.
Hi, Rob and Paul. This is Grant in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'd like to start by saying thank you for making such a great resource available to all of us to help us in our drone careers. Before I started with Drone U, I couldn't even spell drone. And now I'm on my way to starting a business, and hopefully I will be able to take it full time in a year or two. My question has to do with operations manuals. Companies that operate under FAR Parts 135, 141, 121, and Part 91 are required to have several different kinds of manuals that are approved by the FAA. Now, operations manuals are the ones I'm most interested in. Now that Part 107 is law, do you think the FAA is going to require commercial 107 operators to have operations manuals that are approved by the FAA that have to do with safety, operations, etc.? I appreciate it, and thanks again for all you do for us.
Thank you, Grant. Great question.
Very, very good question. Do you need to keep records? The answer is yes and no.
Well, so a couple things then, because he's asking about an operations manual. You're kind of grouping that into keeping records?
Well, operations manual, in my understanding under Part 91, is your flight log, your maintenance log, any time that the plane was out of commission under maintenance. It also includes the operator's manual of how to actually operate the aircraft.
Okay.
And it also includes the pre-flight inspection.
So it's all encompassing of just sort of all that.
It also has the weight and balance information.
Okay. So the record keeping and how you're going to go about it, how you're going to ensure that your company adheres to what needs to be done, that kind of thing.
Well, I think that we're going to see corporations and people like ourselves, we set up processes for other groups to maintain records. But to be 100% honest, the FAA only requires that you do a pre-flight inspection. They require that you do interference testing. You can actually read the law. But when it comes to actually keeping maintenance records like a flight log or a maintenance log, this is what the FAA has to say. I am reading this from the United States Government Publishing Office, or GPO, which, by the way, there were a few people when the FAA was writing these rules under Part 107. There were a couple groups, including the NAAA, the Reeb Spraying Service, and the University of North Dakota's John D. Odegaard School of Aerospace Sciences urged the FAA to include a requirement that remote pilots keep maintenance records. The NAAA stated that it disagrees with the agency's approach to abandon the aviation industry's long-standing requirement of proper record keeping and inspections in favor of accommodation for new NAS entrant. Well, the University of North Dakota, I'm so happy that you did not get your way. This is what the FAA said. Imposing maintenance or pre-flight check record-keeping requirements, such as the ones suggested by the commenters, would likely result in a significant cost because the remote pilot in command would have to create new paperwork every time that he or she conducts a pre-flight check, and every time that any type of maintenance is conducted on the small UAS. At this time, the FAA does not have data to determine whether the safety benefits of additional documentation would be sufficient to justify this burden, especially in light of the significant safety mitigations already provided by other provisions of Part 107. Accordingly, at this time, the FAA declines to impose the suggested documentation requirements on small UAS operated under this rule. But I want to say something. So technically, you don't have to have the paperwork. Do we recommend it? Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I actually think it's really good to keep records just to know how often you've changed your props, when was the last time you tightened all the screws, when you checked over everything, when you totally did a new firmware upgrade, IMU calibration, all of that. I think it's really beneficial. Again, I think we'll see it in the corporate world. But the way that Ted Wilson, our certified CFI, certified flight instructor for the FAA,
Right.
he says, Paul, when I do an investigation, I've got this sheet of just boxes, and I just check the boxes. Did they have their maintenance records? Check yes or no. Did they have inspection records? Check yes or no. The funny thing is, there's never been an FAA investigation that I know of that they've actually done that form. I know they've done investigations, but I've never seen that form implemented. That being said, Ted Wilson said it's a very good idea to keep maintenance records because it's going to give the illusion and the perception that you are a fully qualified pilot. That
The illusion, potentially.
And that you keep records, thus you're safer than the average person.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
he's like, in all honesty, it's all perception.
Right.
So.
And it is perception, but at the same time, you're gathering potentially useful data for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
When things go wrong, and it just makes you more aware of what you're doing.
Totally.
It kind of keeps you focused.
Totally.
And now, of course, you can get to where you just go through the motions and you're zoning while you're doing it, but it's still better than zoning while you're not doing it.
True.
So it's something. Interesting. All right. But it's a rather informal setup with 107, to say the least.
Yes, it is. But on AC 107-2, which is the advisory circular that came out with 107, they do have this little paragraph on page 7-4, which says benefits of record keeping. By the way, this is in our study guide for 107, if you haven't seen one of these things. The SUAS owners and operators may find record keeping to be beneficial, Rob. This could be done by documenting any repair, modification, overhaul, or replacement of a system component resulting from normal flight operations, like we were talking about props.
Yep.
And recording the time in service for that component at the time of the maintenance procedure. Over time, the operator should then be able to establish a reliable maintenance schedule for the SUAS and its components. Record keeping that includes a record of all periodic inspections, maintenance, preventative maintenance, repairs, and alterations performed on the SUAS could be retrievable from either hard copy or an electronic logbook format for future reference. This includes all components of the SUAS, including blah, 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 blah. Record keeping of documented maintenance and inspection events reinforces owner-operator responsibilities for airworthiness through systematic conditions for safe flight determinations.
That's what Ted's talking about.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to read that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, word for word, what Ted said pretty much is right there.
Yeah.
So, will you be judged whether you keep records or not? Yep.
Though,
Legally, do you need them? Nope.
So you decide.
The decision and yours, young Padawan.
Yeah, that's right. And, on the one hand, it's kind of nice to be treated as an adult and said, do what you think is best. We all know what we think is best, but it's in your hands. So make the best decision that you can.
Absolutely, guys. There are a lot of weird areas in this law, and one of my friends, Peter, said this well. A lot of new drone operators who just got a drone for Christmas or just got a drone for the holiday are trying to operate in a gray area just because they think that the drone laws are kind of loose or whatever.
Sure.
Which I don't really think they are. But he said this very well. He's like, in order to operate in the gray area as these new drone pilots attempt to do, you have to know the black and white area in order to know how to operate in the gray area.
That's deep.
Isn't that deep? I told him, I said, I'm going to quote you on that. You
Yeah.
got to know the black and the white to see what gray looks like.
Got to know the black and the white to see the gray.
Which kind of makes sense. You got to know the law to be able to interpret it, right?
I'm going to have to think about that.
You do that. On that bombshell, that's going to do it for us today. If you have a question, go to askadroneu.com and upload it. If you want to learn the ins and the outs of the drone industry, all the secrets, the tips, the trips from the trips, the tricks
Well,
from
trips are involved.
That is true.
Potentially.
If you want to learn all those nuances from an experienced operator like myself, check out livingthedronelife.com, which is the one difference that makes DroneU different from all the other schools. We actually teach from experienced pilots who have a full-time job as drone operators. There's no BS like the other guys. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.